Hi you guys, this is Jamie with Whatever's Clever Boutique, and today I'm going to remake one of my most popular Halloween tumblers from last year. I will have everything I use listed and linked in the description box below. So we're going to go ahead and start out with a mug. Really, any mug will work for this tumbler. I am not sure where I got this one. I do know the Tipsy Magnolia has some mugs as well. So I'm going to start by base painting my tumbler tan. If you want to take the time, so we're going to do a swirl with this tumbler. So if you want to take the time to spray paint all different colors, that is totally great. But when I made the last one, I just base painted it like a basic color that would work for all of my glitters. And I didn't feel I needed to take the time to do all of that crazy spray painting. So we're going to use all Chase Ray glitters today. We're going to use Bumble, Nymph, Hypnotic, and Banshee, and these colors are all so pretty. They sparkle like an insane amount. So we're gonna go ahead and once our 2 coats of acrylic paint is dry, we're gonna go in with our epoxy method today for our glitter. So you can swirl your glitter however you would like. This is how I personally do it. So I'm gonna take my purple first, and I'm just gonna lay those basically opposite of one another on the tumbler. Then I'm gonna go ahead and tap off that excess, and then I'm gonna take my next color, which I chose the Nymph, and I am going to shadow the purple, but not completely. So as you saw there, I had a little bit of space left on the bottom and the top of either side of the purple. Then I'm going to go in with my Bumble Yellow, and I am going to encase that whole area on the outside of the green and the purple with that yellow. Then I'm going to take my Banshee, and I am going to fill in the remaining spots with that color. And this first coat of glitter is super light. As you can see, I don't have full coverage here, but I'm just laying down basically the template for where I want my glitter to go. So once I get all of the colors laid, I'm gonna go back in, and I will leave it all on here for you guys so that you can see the full process. But now I'm gonna slowly start taking those glitters again and kind of work them into the other glitters that are encasing that one color. So for the purple, I'm kind of going to be putting some of the purple into the green and into that yellow, and just trying to blend the colors together so that it looks seamless and almost ombre together super nicely. And this does take some time, so I sped it up to ×2 here for you guys so it goes a little quicker. Once we get that glitter all laid, we're going to go in with 2 coats of epoxy, and I use KSRESIN Liquidy Split Ultra UV Epoxy. Now once those 2 coats are cured, we're going to go in with a 3rd super thin coat. And I wanted to show you here how I coat handled tumblers. So I leave my turner off to begin, and I just slowly work around that handle, being sure that it gets complete and full coverage with that epoxy and there's no bare spots. Once we get that all coated, I go ahead and turn on the turner and coat the rest of the tumbler. those 3 medicine cups below, so I'm gonna go ahead and pour the remainder of the epoxy in those little measuring cups. Then all of the micas we're gonna use today are from Simply Sarah. This is Lestat. We have Spike. And Ethan. And I'm just going to take a popsicle stick and I'm going to put a little bit of each of those micas into a different measuring cup. And then we're going to go ahead and just stir those all together so they're super well blended. Once we get those all mixed together, we are going to take our popsicle stick and just pull some of that mica epoxy throughout the tumbler. And you can do this however you would like. I try and place the colors in the areas that aren't that color glitter, if that kind of makes sense. So I try and avoid the same color mica into the same glitter color. And I just keep going until I feel that I have enough. And as you'll see here, I just kind of look at it as it spins and add as I feel it necessary. Once I am happy with that, I'm going to go ahead and take a gloved finger and I am going to pull each of those little mica strings on the tumbler to smooth it out a little bit. I don't want the harsh lines. I want it to look like it's blended. So I just take my time here and pull each of those colors individually. So you'll see I switch fingers for the green and so on and so forth. Once we get it all pulled and to our liking, I go in with my torch to pop any air bubbles. Once that coat is dry, we're gonna go in with one more thin coat and we're gonna take this Pixie Party, it's almost like flakes, and we're gonna put that into some epoxy with Norma Jean from Peachy Olive Glitters. And we're just gonna kind of use just a gloved finger and we're just gonna pull some of that throughout the tumbler. And this is just gonna add some depth and dimension. And you really can't see it here as I'm doing it, so I do apologize, but I will show a close-up of what that looks like, and it just looks so cool. It adds just a super deep layer into the tumbler. Now I have this Witch's Brew SVG. I'm not entirely sure where I got it. I know it was on Etsy, so I'll search on there for you guys and try and find a link. But I'm just gonna go ahead and layer it. I took a black offset with a kind of sage green. They're both from Tech Wrap Craft. And I just layered those together. Then we're gonna go in with our full sanding regimen, which I will let you guys see here. This is gonna be a long tutorial. But I take my time on that rim to be sure that there is some of that stainless steel exposed. And then I'm just gonna make sure there are no pokey spots anywhere on the tumbler. So I'm just gonna do a full sand here. once the tumbler is all sanded, we're going to take some 91% alcohol and just wipe that off with a cloth. Now we're going to take that decal that we just layered, and I am going to go ahead and remove that backing. And with mugs like this, I do end up having to set up the tumbler so I can make sure that it's straight. And I just slowly press down that top section. Because the brew goes into the curved section, I push down each letter individually so we don't get any creases. Now I have this little skeleton leopard print from a long time ago, and I cut out the purple circles. The file is layered, so I cut out the purple circles, the black skeleton and leopard print, and then I layered them on top of one another to get this file. So I will go ahead and link that down below so you guys can grab that. But I'm just going to take little sections of that and start layering it on the opposite side of the decal. Go ahead and just kind of frame that decal a little bit with some of those leopard print and skull spots. Now for the super fun part, we're going to use some UV resin, this little creepy hand. I got these from Michael's. I'll see if I can find them for you guys online, and our UV light. So we're just going to place a little dab of UV on the tumbler toward the bottom, and I want the hand to kind of encompass the tumbler, if that makes sense. So I went and set that where I wanted it on the tumbler, and then I just cured it until it was still. Now I'm going to go right around the palm of the hand section to be sure that it is fully cured to the tumbler. Now for the fingers. As you can see, they're a little bit lifted. So what we have to do with each finger is take a little bit of UV resin and hold that finger down, and then we're going to cure it while we are holding it down. But you want to be sure to have enough epoxy so that it doesn't just lift right back up. And then we are going to repeat that step for every single finger. Once we get all those fingers down, we're going to put some epoxy in between each of those fingers to fill in those spots so that we don't have any air or anything get trapped inside of there when we go to epoxy. So now after I cured that, I moved a little bit further up the fingers, and then I went in with my 2 final coats of epoxy. And I'm going to show you here how I went ahead and epoxied the first layer, and I did this for both. So again, I left the turner off and I went ahead and took my time epoxying that handled area, which is a lot harder now that we have the hand. And then once I get that handle area all filled, we're gonna go ahead and work on making sure that the hand is fully epoxied. And once we get that done, we're gonna go in and epoxy the rest of the tumbler, and then pop any of those air bubbles that may have formed in any of those creases. once those 2 coats of epoxy are cured, our tumbler is done. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I got a whole bunch of requests for this tumbler last year, and I figure why not let you guys see how I went ahead and made it. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And Halloween is almost here. So just in time. Again, everything I used in this tutorial will be listed and linked in the description box below, as well as a bunch of discount codes for you guys. And I hope you all have a fun and safe Halloween, and I will see you guys again next week.